So we welcome you inside the Rogers Activity Center as the Totino-Grace Eagles, coming off their holiday layoff, will take on the Rogers Royals this evening. Hi, everybody. Really glad to be back with you after our long layoff. Al Finley, Brett Johnson, and Patrick Wilga. It's a pleasure to bring you tonight's action. The Eagles coming off a four-game losing streak. Four really tough opponents in a row, starting with St. Cloud Cathedral, also games against Lakeville North, Prior Lake in there as well, St. Thomas Academy. So four very tough games. Eagles desperately looking for a rebound against a Rogers team possibly coming off their best win of the season, a win over Thief River Falls on Friday up at Ralph Engelstad Arena in a wild game that saw the Thief River Falls squad charged back to take the lead with 3 in the third period before Rogers got a pair late, less than a minute apart, to take that game back. They won that game 5-4.
This is going to be a big test here for Totino-Grace because if you look at some of their common opponents, you would say Eagles are probably favored, but this Rogers team can play some good hockey. This kind of reminds me almost of that Mounds View game that Totino-Grace played where they went in probably as a favorite but ended up losing. And this will be a really key game for them because on Thursday they have that very tough matchup with Andover. So this is really a game they need to try to get things back on track after those 4 losses in a row.
Not going to get much easier. It's not just Andover. We're also going to have Maple Grove and Blaine in there. There's a shot from the near side by Jake Jensen. In on Wes Johnson, who holds on a face-off deep in the Totino-Grace zone with 16:44 to go in the first period. With Andover rising to the number 1 spot in the rankings after White Bear Lake's shocking loss over this past weekend against Irondale. And the Huskies, they've got a tough matchup tonight as they take on St. Cloud Cathedral. It's loose in front and a shot saved. Trey Fredrickson, the leading goal scorer at point blank. But Johnson able to make the save. 16:25 to go as the Royals come out. There's a shot through the blue down the near side by Fredrickson. Centering feed back toward Fredrickson by Ryan Streeter is sent back out to neutral ice where the Eagles gather it in for the first time. Pushed toward the offensive zone by Connor Smith, but taken back by the Royals, sent up to the far side boards, but the Eagles able to get it deep into the Rogers zone. Jake Sharber back to pick it up. Sharber battling on the end boards, gets it toward the blue line. Heffron able to hold the zone as he pushes Grant Grenny to the ice. Royals with it again as they try to reset deep in their own end. Taken away by the Eagles, centering feed out front, taken away by Streeter, loose in front, and we're going to get a penalty coming here against the Royals. So the Eagles and their 30% power play are going to get an early opportunity.
Yeah, looking at those stats, I was a little surprised when I saw those numbers that they're converting at 30%, but that's been one area of their game where they've certainly had some success this season despite just that 5-7 record heading into this one.
I apologize, it wasn't a power play. I think it was a puck played with a high stick, so the Royals touching up stopped playing, but a face-off coming deep in the Rogers end anyway. 15:35 to go, first period, no score. The Eagles trying to hold the zone, they'll play it around and come at the near side corner. A.J. Lohman trying to gather it in for the Royals. Played now back behind the net by Tate Lennius. Lennius, one will sneak through. There's Heffron back to pick it up deep in his own zone. Heffron banks it off as it'll be gathered in now and set up the near side boards by Ganaz. As Ganaz battling here with Tanner Wise. Wise, who had the game-tying goal, had a pair of goals in that win over Thief River Falls. This one pops in on Johnson. The aforementioned Trey Fredrickson had the go-ahead goal 55 seconds later in that wild third period in the win over Thief River Falls on Friday.
Well, Wes Johnson, as you mentioned, is between the pipes for the Eagles, 2-4 on the season. Goals against average a little higher than he'd like at 4.17, but does have a decent save percentage at 876.
Darby Jones can't clear. It's held in by Brandon Lubke, played up into the far side boards. Joe Moss trying to push it along. It's intercepted. Here's Jones with it. Jones trying to thread this one through, but it was intercepted. He's trying to get it to Jack Gray as we get a whistle with 14:40 to go here in the first period, and offside. The call will bring it out into the neutral zone. Oliver Moore will take the face-off against Jensen. Controlled by the Eagles. Here's Luke Schroeder with it. Schroeder will bank it off the near side boards. Royals holding it down on the near side. The Eagles trying to gain possession. They'll push it into the offensive zone. As Delzer trying to get it behind him. It's played up into the far side corner. Royals will play it around the net, back up toward the far side corner. Then losing it off his stick and forced to try to play this one around as Mike and Miller comes around toward the near side. Royals flip it through neutral where it's knocked down by Patrick Finley. Finley try to set up behind his own net as he tries to get it ahead. Fredrickson almost knocked it down. Oliver Moore back the other way into the offensive zone. Moore will work his way around the net, trying to centering feed save out front by Patrick Luffler as it's sent out back into the neutral zone. Played in deep by Hunter Tisdale. Royals will set up there. Leffler in goal tonight, a 4-4-1 record at 2.90 goals against average.
A little bummed we don't get to see the other goaltender. That would be Hannah Skavnik, who actually is one of the few female hockey players that play boys hockey.
A big hit put on Adam Johnson in the Totino-Grace zone. Royals one-time blast. Got a nice pad save by Johnson. And Jake Sharber winding up for a blast, but a penalty coming against Totino-Grace.
Yeah, that's going to put them behind the 8 ball here on the penalty kill. Their PK unit has been doing a nice job this season, killing off 83.7%. Rogers power play, a decent 18%. Probably would like to see that a little bit better, but we'll get a look here at this power play unit as the Eagles are going to be challenged here early.
Just to finish up on Hannah Skavnak, committed to play at Minnesota State Mankato once her high school college career is done, as it's flipped up out of play right off the power play. 1:56 to go in the Rogers power play, 13-19 in the first period.
It's been kind of a trend, too, we've seen in high school hockey over the past few years where some of the top female goaltenders have opted to actually play boys hockey. I know Andover had one a few years ago. I can't remember their name off the top of my head, though.
Ryan Streeter plays it far side. Back down to Lenius with it. Lenius getting it down low. It's just tipped wide.
Lucky, too, because he had an open net to shoot at.
Lenius with a shot saved by Johnson into the glove and a face-off coming deep in the Totino-Grace zone. 12:58 to go here in the first period. No score, but the Royals on the power play. 1:35 to go in the man advantage. It's the first Eagles game in 10 days after the loss to St. Thomas Academy, as the Eagles able to clear at the length of the ice. Delzer trying to take it away deep in the, that's Connor Smith trying to take it away deep in the Rogers end, but the Royals will set up from deep in their own zone and get it out to neutral ice. Flipped in toward the blue line as the Eagles again able to clear at the length of the ice. Back to get it deep in his own end is A.J. Lohman. He'll drop it off behind him. Now Lohman taking it back. 1 minute now to go in the penalty. No score here, early first period, 12:20 to go as it's played in offside by Jensen. And a face-off coming in the neutral zone, 12:18 to go in the first period.
All right, one of the newer facilities here in Minnesota, the Rogers Activity Center. Like the lighting in this rink, very bright and overall not a bad place to watch the game. Wide concourse.
This little spot for us to set up our gear. There's A.J. Lohman back to pick it up deep in his own zone for the Royals. 48 seconds now to go in the power play. Moving his way through neutral is Sharber. Sharber into the offensive zone with Miller. Sharber slowing it down on the far side boards. Drops it back to Lohman. Lohman over to Sharber with a drive. Rebound is loose. Turnaround just pushed wide by Fredrickson. It'll be played back around toward Jensen, and the Royals will be able to set up at the point. Here's Lohman with it again. Lohman will flip it up toward the corner. It's backhanded through by Jensen. It's Fredrickson with it. Fredrickson back to Lohman. Lohman, Sharber with a drive. Rebound off the pad. Karams out into the neutral zone. So the Royals applying good pressure on the power play, which is about to expire. 3 seconds remaining in the man advantage. As Ganaz trying to play it in deep, but it was able to be held just inside the blue line by the Royals, and they'll reset. Now back to 5-on-5 action as the Puck played into the Totino-Grace zone. The Eagles getting it back out to neutral. It's played ahead. Oliver Moore with it. Moore trying to drive through the far side circle to hit on the end boards. Puck played up toward the far side. Back through neutral and flipped in deep by Fredrickson. A great job, though, by the Eagles to hold it right inside the blue lines. It comes back to the red line. Sent in deep to the Eagles zone, covered up by Johnson. 10:52 to go in the first period. Eli Dobitz will take the face-off against Oliver Moore. Played down to the near side corner. It's Howie Moore trying to play it through the corner. It'll end up on the far side. Played back to Moore as he dumps it off behind it between the on-charging Jack Palouf as it's sent into the neutral zone. Oliver Moore trying to work his way around Ryan Streeter. Moore still with it. Moore with a shot that'll be sent up into the netting as Moore takes a big hit from Ryan Streeter after the whistle. Face off deep in the Rogers zone. 10:33 to go here in the first period. Austin Bernovic will take the face off against Cal Levis. Face off controlled. There's a shot over the top of the net by Jack Gray. Sent into the neutral zone. Ganaz trying to play it ahead, but it's intercepted by the Royals. Carried through neutral and then pushed back in by Grant Grenny. Comes down to the near side corner. The Eagles able to get it back out to neutral with Joe Moss racing back to try to poke it back into the neutral zone, which he does. Eagles trying to regain control, but it's flipped back deep into the Totino-Grace end. It's Howie Moore taken away out front. It was a dangerous play. Tanner Wise was almost able to take that one away. Sent deep into the Rogers zone. As Connor Smith got cut off trying to get to the puck, and the Royals break back the other way. Speed into the offensive zone here. Sharper with a shot, and that's held onto by Wes Johnson.
Well, we'll take a look at that on replay now, that last opportunity that we just saw for the Rogers Royals. Yeah, nice save there by Wes Johnson, getting in that butterfly position.
Face off, still loose in the circle, able to be held by Lennius. Easton Miller as it's played up into the far side corner. Trying to get it back to Fredrickson. He's able to knock it down with the glove cleanly, and then taken away by Hunter Tisdale. So we'll get a whistle if the net got knocked off with 9:26 to go here in the first period. No score from the Rogers Activity Center. Rogers, one of those cities that has kind of grown so fast over the last, about 20 years or so, and the population is somewhere around.
Well, they used to be a single A school for years and years when they first opened, but as you mentioned, that enrollment has just spiked for the past decade or so, where I wouldn't be surprised in another 5 years if they're one of the state powers out there. They kind of remind me of like Eden Prairie, like back in the 90s when that was kind of a sprawling community. I think kind of Chaska and Chanhassen are running into that same situation where you have these exurbs that are gaining population, have a lot of young families, and you imagine they would probably be some hockey powers in not too long.
Have produced NHL player Nick Jensen, who just signed an extension or a contract with the Washington Capitals this offseason. He was a graduate about 10 years ago from Rogers. You can see his jersey hanging behind us as it's played by the Eagles with a shot from Connor Smith that's picked up. Stephen Goldens played up onto the far side boards. Pellef can't clear. And then he was able to get it into the neutral zone. Rogers back with it in their own zone. Stretch pass off the stick of Dobitz. It comes down deep into the Eagle end.
Yeah, I'm not sure Dobitz received that cleanly. Otherwise, I think he would have had a pretty clear path to the net.
The Eagles flip it back out through the neutral zone. It's Oliver Moore. Can't hold the zone. Royals, another stretch pass that'll be tipped in off the stick of Wise. It's picked up by Finley up in the far side corner. Finley can't get it through the far side board. Sent back out to neutral. AJ Lohman battling now with Delzer. Delzer got the play held up enough to get it on his stick. There's a shot. Rebound is also saved by Leffler. It's a great play there between Oliver Moore and Delzer to get that set up as that little drop pass trying to get it to Grenny was off his stick, or that would have possibly been a good opportunity for Rogers there. Pushed along the far side boards, backhanded toward the neutral zone. Smith into the offensive zone with Delzer. Smith slowing it down. Smith with a shot, and that was blocked. Royals will pick it up, circle their net. Here's Lohman with it. Lohman flipping it out to the neutral zone. It's carried up the near side by Grenny. Grenny getting fought off now by Luke Schroeder, pushed into the end boards. It's picked up by Gray, and we're going to get a penalty coming here for holding against Schroeder. I believe, is it going to be Schroeder? It might be.
Well, let's go back and look at that last opportunity that the Eagles had. You're going to see a great little pass there to Luke Delzer. Just unfortunately for him, wasn't able to quite bury it. One more look at it before we get this power play.
There will be a holding call on Schroeder, so we'll get the second Rogers power play with 7:22 to go here in the first period.
And again, Rogers already 0 for 1 on that power play unit thus far. Again, as we mentioned, the Eagles have done a nice job this season killing off penalties coming into the game with that 84% PK unit.
Jake Sharber back with it in his own zone. Sharber now in the neutral zone. Nice job by Heffron to poke this away. Kyle Heffron into the offensive zone. Heffron, he scores! Kyle Heffron, another shorthanded goal. Kind of become his specialty we've seen this season. He did it all himself. That's number 14 for Kyle Heffron. It's 1-0 Totino-Grace.
Well, let's go ahead and watch the replay. What a shot by Heffron right here. Get a look at it one more time. Watch it in slow motion. Heffron, high glove side. That is just a tremendous shot. 1-0 Eagles. Another shorthanded goal, as you mentioned, Patrick. I'll go back and look at the stats, but they've got quite a few this year, don't they?
Heffron himself has accumulated a number of those. In particular, we'll be talking about this one for a while, that 3-on-5 against Coon Rapids. It was just the way that he makes these plays happen. So Kyle Heffron with his 14th, it's a shorthanded goal. Eagles on top here, a little less than midway through the first period. Number 14 for the big guy. With a shot, another shorthanded attempt. This one by Ganas. That was saved by Leffler.
It's their 6th shorthanded goal of the season, by the way.
My goodness. Fredrickson poking it along through neutral, trying to get it to Jensen. It's poked back out at neutral ice. Here's Delzer with it. Delzer will poke this one in on goal. Leffler stops it with the pad. Royals work their way back through neutral. Miller, though, has his pocket picked as we now go under the 8-minute mark. The 6-minute mark. The scoreboards of this arena are really tough to read. We'll just kind of throw that out there. We apologize in advance, but we are under 6 minutes now to go here in the first period, not 8.
Yeah, you kind of have to get a magnifying glass to read the scoreboard out here. That's about my only complaint I have. Otherwise, I really like this rink that they have out here at the in Rogers.
I think it's a really nice arena as well as Rogers controls off the face-off. 27 seconds in their power play. Poked back out to neutral, or back to gather it in is Cal Levis. Levis trying to work his way around at Gray as it's cleared back deep into the Rogers zone. 15 seconds now to go in the power play. They'll set up again behind their own net as it's sent over toward Wise on the near side. Wise was trying to set up Grenny, but it was out of his reach. Eagles will play it around their net as the power play comes to an end. Eagles a +1 on the penalty kill once again. Their 6th shorthanded goal courtesy of Kyle Heffron. Turnaround shot that was saved. Rebound is still loose in the slot. Eagles able to pick it up as Golden has it intercepted behind the net. Centering feet intercepted out front by Adam Johnson as he gets it ahead toward Heffron. Heffron slowing things down, will play it off the near side boards. Deep into the Eagles zone. That'll be an icing. We'll bring it deep into the Eagles zone with 4:57 to go in the first period. Kyle Heffron with his 14th goal of the season, another shorthanded beauty, putting the Eagles on top here in the first period. Face off here deep in the Grace zone. Blow it dead off the face off. Face off, loose in the circle. It's played around by the Eagles to the near side. It's driven back to the end boards as Ganaz with it. Brandon Lubke eyeing him as it's played out through neutral. Heffron will pick it up in the offensive zone. Heffron with a shot, rebound, saved by Leffler and held on to. It's Heffron bidding for his second goal of the first period. Face-off coming deep in the Royals' end. 4:42 to go in the first period. And the Eagles have withstood those two power plays. Rogers got some good looks on their first chance. The second one, not as many, plus the shorthanded goal for Heffron. Royals get it back out to neutral. They're trying to play this one ahead. It's intercepted by Ganaz, but a good job here by the Royals to take this one away as Jensen able to push it through the corner. Oliver Moore trying to gain control, but he can't get a hold of it. The Eagles trying to clear. Moore punches it up into the Grace bench with 4:21 to go here in the first period. 1-0, Eagles leading it. And about Rogers coming in, 1-3 of 4. Got perhaps their best win of the season over Thief River Falls on Friday. Face-off played to the end boards. It's taken here by the Eagles. It's Connor Smith through neutral. Smith with Delzer trying to get it back behind him. It's Oliver Moore back with it. It was blocked as he was trying to get it over to Delzer, but the Eagles were able to maintain control.
Yeah, Ryan Streeter did a nice job breaking that up for Rogers, kind of reading that he wanted to make that pass across and was able to break it up.
Centering feed intercepted out front by the Royals. Banked back through the neutral zone. Back to pick it up is Ganaz as he wheels and sends this one up into the rafters at the red line. And we'll have a face-off with 3:51 to go here in the first period. 1-0 Eagles leading it. Kyle Heffron with his 14th of the season. The 6th shorthanded goal of the season for Totino-Grace.
And make sure you follow TG Eagle Hockey on Twitter. We do have Heffron's shorty up on the highlight reel. And that's the Eagles' 6th shorthanded goal of the season. Man, they have really excelled on that PK unit.
Kate Lenny has played it in deep to the Eagles zone. Eagles trying to gain control of it. It comes over to Darby Jones, who slips. It's played back into the neutral zone. Now deep into the Rogers zone, where the Royals trying to gain control of it as they get it ahead to Lohman. Lohman ahead. It's Levis trying to gain the offensive zone. Levis with a turnaround shot that was blocked as Tisdale got in front of that one. The Royals able to hold the zone. Royals able to hold it deep in the Eagle zone now. With Jack Gray battling on the end boards. It's poked by Tanner Wise. Comes around to the near side corner. Get it to Austin Bernovic. Bernovic will circle back into his own end. Penalty coming here against the Royals. Extra attacker is on. It's kind of a dangerous play.
That got a little dicey, although technically if it would have been hit into the net by Rogers, that obviously would not have counted, but you do get a little nervous sometimes when you're pulling that goaltender when you're about to go on the power play.
Seen that happen a couple of times. We talked about, I think it was the Osseo game we brought up. The Osseo goaltender got credited with a goal in that scenario in a game against Centennial.
Again, the TG power play unit also putting up some good numbers. 30% on the season, so special teams has been an area of strength for the Eagles.
Heffron drops it behind him to Ganaz for a long drive. Ganaz now playing without a stick. He's trying to kick that puck back along. Rogers will gain control. 1:45 in the Totino-Grace power play, their first of the evening. Heffron will play this one back towards Stephen Golden. Golden will now be forced to reverse direction. It's Fredrickson unable to take it away from Heffron. Heffron will bring it into the offensive zone. Drop pass toward Bernovic, but it splits him and Oliver Moore. The Royals unable to play it around. Smith drops it back to Oliver Moore. Moore with a nice move, and then he has to backhand it behind him to Ganaz. Ganaz over to Heffron. Heffron forced back into the neutral zone, then taken away here by by Sharber as it's played down into the near side corner. It was taken away then from Streeter. There's Heffron with it. Heffron pass onto the far side boards for Bernovic into the offensive zone. Bernovic with a backhand shot saved by Leffler. Played up into the far side corner. Royals will get it out to neutral, and here they come the other way. There's Wise with it. Wise with a shot save. Rebound just pushed wide as the net comes off. Mike and Miller just pushed that rebound wide as the net got slammed into the end boards, and that was almost a shorthanded goal the other way.
Yeah, let's take a look at it here. As they're going to see that 2-on-1 break, Johnson gave up that rebound, and it was a good play back checking there by Oliver Moore to break up that possible second chance. Otherwise, that very easily could have knotted this game up.
There's a shot that'll be tipped over the top of the net off the stick of Easton Miller as it comes around to the near side. So Rogers generating some good shorthanded pressure. The steam through neutral ice here. Sam Thielen. Thielen, though, had his pocket picked as he drove toward the net. On the far side boards, Royals able to clear at the length of the ice. It'll go in on Johnson, who knocks it down. Golden there to pick it up as Levis trying to make a play. Play it back by Levis as Golden sets up behind his own net. 11 seconds in the power play. Golden gets it ahead into the offensive zone for Howie Moore, who will take a shot. That's saved by Leffler. Play down to the near side corner. Under a minute to go in the period. The power play comes to an end, so a combined 0 for 3 now on the power play in the game are these two teams thus far. 43 seconds to go in the frame. With Lohman into the offensive zone. Lohman with a shot, fairly easy one in on Johnson, who holds on with 38.8 to go here in the first period.
Let's go back to that other opportunity again. Watch Oliver Moore on this back check, able to break that up. Nice job there getting back on defense. Otherwise, for Rogers, they would have had a very good opportunity to try to knot this game up at 1. For Rogers, that was number 20, Mike and Miller, who had that opportunity.
So kind of a bizarre sequence there. I think they dropped the face-off before the Royals were in position, so the face-off win went into the neutral zone and was played in offside. That was a break for the Eagles there because the Royals were not ready.
Yeah, it's not something you see every day, is it?
You know, the defenseman hadn't gotten into position yet. Mike and Miller won the face-off, but it went into the neutral zone because the Royals hadn't quite gotten set. We're under 30 seconds now to go here in the period. Face-off, played around the net, up onto the far side boards. Now into the neutral zone, Heffron with it. Heffron, we're through the circle with a shot, and that's saved by Leffler and held on to a 16.6. Boy, his shots are big and loud, aren't they, Brett?
Yeah, he really looks dialed in here in this one. See if I can show you that one before you're going to see that good shot there by Heffron. Yeah, he's really dialed into this game.
Face off control. Here's Heffron with it as he gets it over toward Ganaz. Ganaz with a wobbly shot. Rebound cleared out. Able to be held. Heffron was just out of position on the rebound. Ganaz through traffic. That'll be deflected over the top of the net out front as the period comes to an end. Eagles with some good looks in the final 15 seconds. We'll go to the first intermission. Kyle Heffron, his 14th of the season. Overall, the 6th Eagles shorthanded goal. Just kind of seen a little bit of we've seen a good pace of play. We've seen good chances at both ends for both teams. It's been I'm looking forward to the second period, Brett.
Yeah, it's been an entertaining game. Good opportunities for both squads. Kind of the type of game that I was expecting, where probably going to come down to the wire at the end. So, yeah, we got a good night of hockey on the way.
All right, so we're going to go to our first intermission from the Rogers Activity Center. You're watching the TG Network, 1-0 Totino-Grace after one period. So welcome you back inside the Rogers Activity Center. Getting set for the second period. Eagles leading 1-0. Kyle Heffron with his 14th of the year. Another shorthanded goal, the 6th overall for the Eagles. Heffron, we talked about that shorthanded specialty of his. That 3-on-5 against Coon Rapids, something that just the nature of that particular play just really stands out in your mind, Brad. Just as Heffron does it again shorthanded. Eagles leading 1-0. We talked about things were difficult. They played a lot of tough opponents. Not going to get any easier. 5-game homestand coming up after this. Will include the likes of Blaine and Andover, 2 top 10 teams. Andover on Thursday. Mentioned in the pregame, Andover's got their own tough test tonight as they take on St. Cloud Cathedral, a perhaps preview of 2 teams who might be playing for their respective class championships. St. Cloud Cathedral, of course, just Class A. Well, I shouldn't say just, but they are Class A. Face-off coming here deep in the Eagles zone. 16:53 to go, second period. 1-0 Eagles. Eagles break out the other way. We're going to get it towards Smith, but it was poked back the other way by Ryan Streeter. Sent in deep to the Eagles zone. With Adam Johnson trying to play it around. Backhand pass ahead. Sent into the neutral zone. Sent back in by Jake Sharber. The Eagles come down to collect it. Smith on the near side as he grabs it in front of Trey Fredrickson. Fredrickson trying to get the play tied up in the near corner. Comes out with it briefly. There's Oliver Moore with speed the other way. 3-on-1, but then he whiffed on the pass. He got it to Smith. What a great save at point blank by Patrick Leffler. Puck comes back through the slot. It's a shot by Golden, and that one held on to by Leffler once again. So Leffler with a couple of really good saves here early in the second period. The 3-on-1 thwarted by the Rogers goaltender.
Yeah, whale of an effort there to come up with that save, and we'll look at the replay on that coming up on the next whistle. Show you that again, because it was a tremendous save.
Heffron controls the face-off. Heffron sends it far side. The one deflected just wide of the net out front by Adam Johnson. Swept into the neutral zone by Tanner Wise. Grant Grenny getting to it. Grenny along the near side. He'll take a shot, save, rebound gathered in by Wes Johnson.
Let's go back and look at that opportunity from a few moments ago. Yeah, they certainly came close, and it was a nice job to recover after originally losing his stick handle on that one, on that 3-on-1 break.
Face off, loose on the slot. There's a shot, or that save, rebound. Cal Levis took the shot. Rebound played around the net, around to the near side corner. Eagles gain control. They try to get it along towards Sam Thielen. Thielen gets it out into the neutral zone. As Lennius back with it in his own end. As Heffron kicks it in back into the Rogers zone as it's covered up by Leffler here with 15:26 to go in the second period. So Heffron was able to just get his skate out in front of that puck, hold it deep in the Rogers zone. And a face-off will be coming here as Gray will take the face-off against Eli Dobitz. Bernovic sends it cross ice for Schroeder. Schroeder turnaround shot saved. Leffler goes to the end boards. Nice job by Darby Jones to take it out of the corner. Gets it back to Schroeder for a shot save again by Leffler, and he holds on with 15:13 to go here in the second period. Well, the Eagles buzzing in the offensive zone early in the second period. They lead at 1-0. Kyle Heffron had his 14th of the year in the first period, coming shorthanded. Darby Jones trying to play it through the corner, but the Royals able to take it away. Push it up toward Brandon Lubke as he gets it down toward Jack Pelliff on the near side. Pelliff gets it into the Totino-Grace zone. Delzer trying to pick it up on the end boards. He took a shot. Played along the near side. Moore trying to clear but can't. Eagles will get it out to neutral as it slides off the stick of Jones. Jones is trying to get it ahead to Bernovic and back out to neutral as the Royals play it back in deep. Joe Moss will set up from deep in his own zone. So this pass a little off target. It went off his teammate's skate. The drive from just outside by Schroeder goes wide of the net. Comes in on Leffler again, who has to steer it aside. Goes down to the near side corner. Smith trying to dig it out. It'll be Oliver Moore who comes away with it instead. Moore still with it. Moore can't get around Moss. Banked ahead toward Pelov, who gets it out into the neutral zone. Played in deep by Brandon Lubke. It'll work its way around the Eagle net. Eagles will set up as the almost catch the Royals on a line change, but Connor Smith couldn't control the pass early enough to get it in deep as it's sent back to the Eagle blue line. Eagles trying to gain control in their own zone, trying to bank it ahead toward Delzer, but a nice job to intercept that one by Easton Miller, who then plays it in offside. .13:51 to go here in the second period, along with Al Finley and Brett Johnson. I'm Patrick Lilia. It's a pleasure to be with you this evening. The first Totino-Grace game in about 3 weeks. Long layoff with the holiday tournaments. The Eagles work their way through neutrals. It's banked into the Rogers zone. It'll be played here by Sharber. Sharber getting pushed to the ice in the corner. Heffron comes out with it. Heffron, nice pass to Thielen, who sent a shot just wide of the net down to the near side. As Howie Moore was able to separate the puck from Mike and Miller in the near side corner. The Royals will play it around Sharber with it. Sharber still working his way up the right wing side as he gets it out through the neutral zone. Eagles flip it back out to neutral. Eagles again trying to gain control in their own zone. It's Howie Moore with it up the right wing into the offensive zone where he got cut off by Trey Fredrickson on the near side as Fredrickson eventually comes out with that puck as Thielen was spun around. It's sent back toward Mike and Miller. Miller, though, gets sandwiched between Parker Ganaz and Sam Thielen and back into the neutral zone and then played in deep by Jake Sharber. It'll work its way behind the Eagle net. The Eagles will play it toward Heffron on the near side with Easton Miller in pursuit of him. Miller able to take it away. His centering feet just sneaks through. Able to be held by Grant Grenny. The Eagles with it behind their own net. They get it toward Heffron. Heffron into the neutral zone. It'll be played back in deep by Lennius. Oh my goodness! I looked away. It was just an innocent dump in by Lennius, and he scores.
I feel bad there for Wes Johnson because as we're going to watch it on the replay, that puck took a really, really funny bounce, and that's just very unfortunate for him.
Oh, my goodness. So Tate Lennius, with his third goal of the season, has tied the game at one. No, I think they're going to call it offside, Brett.
Oh, my God. Wow.
Well, the Royals were offside when the puck went in the net. Well, that'll wave the goal off, so a bizarre turn of events gets even more bizarre, but the Eagles maintain that 1-0 lead as Darby Jones on the far side getting tied up in the corner as he has it taken away by Grenny. Grenny trying to fight his way through Jack Gray, but couldn't as it's banked back towards Smith, unable to be held by A.J. Lohman. Played back deep into the Eagle zone. 12:05 to go here in the second period as here's Bernovic able to gather this one in. Bernovic, cross-ice pass out of the reach of Jones. Schroeder sliding up to hold the zone. Gray on the end boards able to come out with the puck. They'll kick it back to the blue line. Jones winds up for a shot into the glove of Patrick Leffler, who holds on with 11:47 to go here in the second period.
So unfortunately wasn't able to get that replay recorded of that no goal by Rogers. I was able to get the tail end when they were celebrating, and I'm guessing it was a good call simply because the celebration was happening deep in the Totino-Grace zone, which means someone was probably in that zone as that puck went in. So I'm going to venture and say that was probably a good call by the officials to say he was offsides. And Wes Johnson's got to feel like he's has a new lease on life.
The Streeter has the puck tied up on the far side. Taken away, though. Here's Delzer with a shot and a good save again by Leffler. As Tisdale able to slow this one down. His shot blocked. Golden with a shot that's blocked. Nice job by Oliver Moore to maintain possession. Moore working through. He's got it on the near side circle. Gets it back to Tisdale. It goes off his stick. Golden will go get it in the neutral zone. Eagles having to reset here. Play it back toward the red line off the stick of Delzer as it's backhanded ahead by Ryan Streeter. It'll work its way back into the Eagles zone where Tisdale back to pick it up behind his own net. Tisdale then whiffing on the attempt to get it behind the net. Played to the end boards as Eli Dobich takes a hit behind the net. And back out toward neutral. Pushed back deep into the Eagles zone once again. 10:45 to go here in the second period. 1-0 Eagles with the lead. It's a great play here by Jake Jensen trying to take the puck away deep in the Eagle zone. Looked for a moment that the Royals had tied the game on a bizarre play, but even more bizarre after that, the goal waved off. As they said, the Royals were offsides.
Kind of curious how you react to that too mentally as a goalie, because it's just got to be deflating to give up a real kind of fluke goal like that where it takes a nasty bounce, but then all of a sudden they wave it off. It's a real psychological roller coaster that Wes Johnson's probably going through right now, but he ended up on the good side of it, though, with it being waved off.
They score! Sam Thielen able to deflect it in off the stick of Howie Moore, and the Eagles lead it 2-0.
Yeah, just some good puck movement there by Totino-Grace. Going tic-tac-toe, and they were able to tip that in. Good job to get some traffic in front, 2-0. And those are the types of goals the Eagles are going to have to score as we head into the second half of this season if they're going to have success. Those highlight reel goals are nice to have, but they're going to need to work hard, have some good puck movement, and that's exactly what we saw right there as they're up 2-0 now.
It'll be the 9th of the season for Sam Thielen. Played deep into the Eagle zone. Well, the Eagles will stand the bizarre no call on the Rogers goal, and now they've extended their lead to 2-0. Kyle Heffron will get the secondary assist. It was a perfect deflection by Thielen off the shot by Moore. It went right over the right shoulder of the goaltender Leffler to make it 2-0 Eagles here in the second period. Play continuing deep in the Eagle zone, played up toward the far side. Easton Miller trying to slow it down on the far side boards. He battles with Thielen. With them getting involved in the play there for Rogers was Nick Demaray as it comes around to the near side. We'll go deep into the Rogers zone. That'll be icing. We'll bring it back into the Eagle zone with 9:09 to go here in the second period. It's 2-0 Totino-Grace leading it. What's coming up Thursday night, the Eagles start their 5-game homestanding as #1 Andover, a game you won't want to miss. Eagles taking on the top-ranked Huskies. That'll be Thursday night at 7 here on the TG Network. The Royals able to hold the zone, flipped back out through neutral. Bernovic getting to it. Bernovic can't work his way around A.J. Lohman. Gets it back to the point. A long drive by Schroeder, and that's tipped up into the net with the pad by Leffler. 8:49 to go, second period. 2-0 Eagles leading it. We'll see how the Royals respond now. It looked for a moment they had tied the game. It was waved off. Now they find themselves down by 2. The Eagles looking to break a 4-game losing streak, all against top-tier competition. This Finley shot was tipped down low. Backhander, still loose in front of Leffler as it's played down to the near side. Pass to the far side boards will be gathered in by Jensen. Jensen will go in off the stick of Fredrickson, played back into the neutral zone. Here's Jack Gray into the offensive zone. Gray gets it over to Bernovic. Bernovic gathers it in, thought about the shot, pulled it in ahead of Lenius. Rogers regaining possession here in their own zone. They'll play it out into the neutral zone where Delzer will play it back in deep to the Rogers end. Lenius setting up behind his own net as he plays it over toward Mike and Miller on the near side. Miller sends it cross ice where it's gathered in by Lohman. Lohman gets it into the neutral zone where it's intercepted. It has to be played in deep by Tisdale as he would have come in offside. 7:50 to go here, second period. 2-0 Eagles leading it. 1 goal each in the first and the second. Fredrickson will push this one in deep to the Eagle zone. Fredrickson getting tied up by Adam Johnson on the end boards. It'll be Tisdale on the end boards. It comes free. Puck still loose in the corner. Trying to center it for Fredrickson, but it's intercepted by the Eagles. There's Delzer speeding through the neutral zone. Delzer with a shot and rips that one wide of the net. Rebound will go into the neutral zone. It's Goldman with it. Golden will play it into the Rogers zone, where it'll be controlled there. They've got it over to Grant Grenny. Grenny into the offensive zone all alone. Grenny with a shot, he scores! Grant Grenny kind of caught the Eagles defenders napping, and he drives in for his second goal of the season. And Rogers does respond, and they now trail 2-1.
Now let's take a look at it here on replay. You're going to see him break in. It's slowly here to see, and yeah, just a little bit quicker than that glove of Wes Johnson, and a good response there by Rogers, because that could have been really deflating for them when all of a sudden you think you get kind of a fluky goal to tie it up at 1, gets waved off, then Totino-Grace scores to make it 2-0. That's a big response for them to get back in this game.
So Grant Grenai with the goal and the assist to Ryan Streeter. They're coming at 9:53 of the second period. Running up for a blast, and that was just tipped wide off a stick of Thielen. Comes around toward the near side. Ganaz able to hold. It's picked up here by Cal Levis. Levis working his way through neutral into the offensive zone. As there was Demaray as it's intercepted here by Johnson. Johnson plays it over toward the near side. That's how we more. Here's Heffron into the offensive zone. Heffron, oh, nice stick move, but can't work his way through Ryan Streeter. Here's Ganaz back with it as he plays it to Thielen in the corner, trying to get it back to Heffron, but it was tipped back into the neutral zone. That's how we more back to get it. He banks it toward Heffron. Heffron into the offensive zone with Gray. Nice drop pass. Thielen with a shot, save, rebound. Just sneaks past Gray. This one kicks off of Heffron's skates back into the neutral zone. It's played now deep into the Eagle end once again. As Ganaz will play it through the corner. Dobit's there to slow it down, but it's taken away by the Eagles. 5:40 to go, second period, 2-1. Eagles leading it. Eagles led it 2-0. Looked for a moment that the game was going to be tied at 1. This one comes in for icing. The Rogers goal waved off, and then Sam Thielen made it 2-0 for the Eagles, but then Grant Grenai responding for Rogers a moment ago with his second of the season. Cut the deficit in half, and the Eagles leading at 2-1 with 5:32 to go in the period.
I gave you a look at that one more time. Just a good shot there by Grenai, and again, that's huge to get momentum back on their side, because Rogers has not played a good or a bad game. I think it's been rather evenly matched between these two teams. I mean, the Eagles did have a good stretch of about 3 or 4 minutes where they were really dominating play, but other than that, I'd say it's been a real 50-50 matchup between these two squads.
So icing here will carry it back into the Eagle zone with 5:13 to go here in the middle frame. Along with Al Finley and Brett Johnson and Patrick Lilia, it's a pleasure to be with you this Tuesday evening. Very chilly Tuesday evening. Day started out nice, but temperatures are going to be plummeting. Guessing they have already. Comes down into the near side corner. Played around the net toward Adam Johnson. Tisdale trying to get it ahead. It's sent back in. Golden behind his own net. Back toward Tisdale. There's Oliver Moore through neutral. Oh, nice move to get around, but then Moore loses it off his stick. He got around Easton Miller, but then lost control of the puck, and the Royals will take it back the other way. Played in deep to the Eagles zone, centering feed out front. Backhand shot, that just went off the inside of the post. Oh, my goodness.
We're going to have to watch that again. I think that might have hit the... Sounded like you were pretty confident in saying that didn't go in, Patrick. I didn't get that good of a look at it.
Well, it was just my guess because there was no goal signal, so I assumed that was what would have had to happen. There was Easton Miller who had the shot, coming inches from tying the game as it's loose out in front again as Miller couldn't get a good shot, then missed on the rebound. There's a shot through traffic. They score! Jake Sharber from high in the slot. And Rogers has responded with a pair here in the second period, and this game is tied.
Yeah, some hard work there by Rogers to tie this game up at 2 after nearly scoring moments before that goal. They do get this one to count 2-2. Well, the Eagles are going to have their work cut out from them as Rogers has really ramped up the pressure.
Oh, Jake Sharber tying the game with his 4th goal of the season. 4:13 to play here in the second period. Well, the Eagles led 2-0 early in the period with Thielen's 8th. But since then, Grant Grenai made it 2-1. Now Jake Sharber just ripping a rocket from high in the slot to tie the game at 2. Cal Levis getting the lone assist on the Sharber goal.
I'm still convinced that shot before Sharver, to me it looked like it hit that inside of the goalpost, but it doesn't really matter because they came back and scored anyways.
You know, it's kind of one of those things, if it did go off then, inside of the post, and they deserve to have that goal, and this game should be tied. Just kind of
the fate looking on them.
I guess you could definitely put it that way as it's played back into the neutral zone. Heffron, Eagles trying to gain control, definitely playing on their heels here. Here's Heffron with it. Heffron has it poked off of his stick by Lenius. Played back toward the blue line. Sent into the neutral zone by Levis.
I think this is a good line to have on the ice here for the Eagles to try to regain momentum.
Heffron with a nice stick move. Heffron with a shot and a great glove save by Leffler.
Yeah, Heffron with a whale of an effort there. Let's look at it again. And he's really been on his game today. Look at that little stick handle right there to get around him. Just a better save by the goaltender, though.
Heffron, who has one of the two Eagles goals, a shorthanded. That was his 14th goal of the season. Coming in the first period. Played up into the far side corner. Fredrickson, despite the Rogers, how great they played in the second period, we haven't really called Trey Fredrickson's name much during this push. Fredrickson, their leading scorer with 8. But it kind of speaks to the rest of the Rogers team that, they're getting it done without Fredrickson and without Tanner Wise, their second leading goal scorer, really factoring into the equation. So play cycle through the corner. Fredrickson will flip it out to neutral. Will be played back along, and then whiffing on the dumped attempt was Keelan, but he's able to get it in. Under 3 minutes now to go here in the second period. 2-2 tie game. Comes free in the slot for a shot by Gray, and he just pushed it wide. Kind of a tailor-made drive from the slot. It's Heffron still with it as he gets it over to Schroeder. Schroeder with a shot saved Leffler. Net gets knocked off.
At least for us this season, as we've broadcast almost all the TG games, I don't believe we've had, outside of that first one against Matamidi, any real nail biters that went down to the wire. I guess sort of that Mounds View game, but had a lot of lopsided games going both for and against Totino-Grace, so it looks like we're going to have a good one here coming down to the late in second period with the game tied at 2 in a really evenly matched contest here between Rogers and Totino-Grace.
Lubke controls in the corner, gets it out to neutral where it's slowed down. Carried into the offensive zone by Pelliff as he's driven down to the near side boards. Pelliff will play it up through the corner to the far side as Dobitz trying to slow it down. Then they center it for Pelliff, able to be held by Miller. Miller will play it through the corner up toward the far side. Oh, nice backhand pass. Turnaround shot was blocked. It's a great effort. Lubke coming free out front. But he had a shot blocked. It was a great play designed by Rogers and really good execution. The Royals play it back in deep to the Eagle zone. Backhanded back up into the corner. As Ganaz will flip it out through neutral. Nice job to cut off Bernovic at the blue line by Jake Sharber. As Jones dropping it to Bernovic. Bernovic with a shot and a glove save by Leffler. Well, the Eagles starting their push back. And we've seen some good offensive chances, some good rushes here for the Eagles here since the Royals tied the game up earlier in the period. Moore wins the face-off. Delzer, though, can't get it back to the blue line. Here's Grenai into the offensive zone. He takes a hit on the near side by Schroeder, who takes the puck away from him. But he can't clear. It's taken away. Turnaround shot high over the top of the net by Tanner Wise. The Royals still control. And then just missing on an opportunity for a shot out front was Sharber once again. And then another shot off the end boards. So the momentum quickly swings back the other direction, and Rogers very nearly taking the lead there with 1:19 to go here in the second period, and a face-off deep in the Eagle zone.
Absolutely some trying moments there for Totino-Grace. They're going to see that puck sitting right out there in front, then nearly was able to hit that in.
Face-off comes around toward the near side. It's played back behind the net. Delzer getting tied up there. Tanner Wise can't dig it out. It comes around toward the near side. It's played back toward the blue line, able to be held, though, by Tanner Wise. They drive in on Johnson, who has a save there on a shot by Grenai. Under a minute to go here in the period. Played back behind the net. Wraparound attempt. The drive by Sharber. It's loose in front again. Puck still sitting out front. Played back toward the end boards. Held by Lohman. Sends it over to Sharber. Sharber with a shot that was blocked. Eagles back with it. 35 seconds in the period as they get it out to neutral ice. Able to be played back into the neutral zone. I think they went in offside and came out, so they blow the play dead with 28.9 to go.
Some real trying moments here as they're going to see on replay for Totino-Grace. I think they just want to get to this end of the period and kind of regroup here as the Royals have really taken it to the Eagles late in this second period. Those 2 goals really have energized this team, and the Eagles are kind of in a dangerous place right here, so I think the intermission certainly couldn't come at a better time for them.
It's Heffron trying to get it under control. And we get another whistle here and a hand pass. So it's going to bring it all the way back into the Eagle zone. As Heffron was working his way into the offensive zone.
Yeah, and that's going to be a tough break for the Eagles because that's going to, as you said, bring it all the way back in the TG zone. And this Rogers Royals offense has really been buzzing since about midway through the second period, so they're not out of the woods yet, are the Eagles, with 21.4 seconds left in period 2.
Face off, played up to the end boards. As Ganaz plays it around toward the near side, flip through the neutral zone. This will go for icing with 10.6 to go. It'll bring it all the way back into the Eagle zone one more time. The Royals will have one more chance to try to take the lead. They have not led in the game. They trailed 2-0. They've tied it up here at 2. Face off, still loose, poked into the neutral zone. And we're going to get a penalty as Bernovic was grabbed as he was trying to get to that loose puck. Well, the Eagles will, in all likelihood, start the third period with a good chunk of power play time.
Yeah, and that's the exact break they're going to need right there. As you can see, Bernovic get tied up on that attempted rush into the zone, so that's exactly what Totino-Grace is going to need here to start the third period, although they still do have a few seconds to try to do something here to end the second.
They blow it dead off the face-off. That'll run it down to 4.7. Ryan Streeter for the hook. Now we're going to get a official holding up play and now signaling that we're ready to go. 5.1 to go now. They put the time back on the clock. 3.1 now as it goes off the side of the net, and that takes us to the end of the period. So the Eagles will start the third period with a minute 54 of power play time. But Sam Thielen's goal to give the Eagles a 2-0 lead was quickly counterbalanced. Grant Grenai and Jake Sharber scoring for the Royals to tie the game up. After that, as we'll go to the second intermission with the Eagles and the Royals tied at 2. You're watching the TG Network. We'll be back with your third period in a little bit. periods. Eagles got out to a 2-0 lead off of goals from Heffron and Thielen, but then the Royals responding in a big way over the second half of that middle period as they got goals. Second of the year from Grant Granai, that made it 2-1, and then the fourth of the year from Jake Sharber, that made it 2-2. Eagles will start this third period with 1:54 of power play time. By the way, Thielen's goal was his 9th, and Heffron was his 14th. Heffron's came on a shorthanded scenario. That was the 6th shorthanded goal of the year for the Eagles.
In fact, while we're waiting, we can even go back and show you that goal one more time if you'd like to relive it. Just a beautiful shot that at the time was the first goal of that hockey game. While we're still waiting, why don't we go ahead and show you one of the Rogers goals as well.
We talked about Andover coming up on Thursday for the Eagles. They're tied 1-1 right now with St. Cloud Cathedral. It's in the second period. We knew that would be a test for Andover, two hopeful state title champions, with Cathedral in Class A and Andover in Double A as we're underway here in the third period as the Royals able to send it in deep. Remember, shorthanded still for another 1:45 as the Eagles trying to gain control here in their own zone.
And a good power play unit this season, coming in at 30%. They are 0 for 1 in this game, however.
Ganaz drive through the corner. It'll work its way around the net up into the far side. As Jake Jensen able to come out with it, he'll send it the length of the ice, and the Eagles will have to get it from deep in their own end once again. 1:25 in the power play. 16:27 to go in regulation. 2-2. Eagles got out to a 2-0 lead. Rogers answered with a pair. Here's Oliver Moore. Moore trying to drop it back behind him. There's a shot. They score. Power play goal for Oliver Moore. And the Eagles on top, 3-2. Excuse me, that'll be Bernovic with the power play goal. It's 3-2 now. And for Bernovic, that'll be his 6th of the season. Kind of a muted response from the crowd. Of course, we are at Rogers, but
watch this one more time. Oliver Moore makes a tremendous pass because, as you'll see again, the Rogers defender does a great job cutting off the passing angle originally, but from kind of an impossible angle, he was able to feed that in front. That is a tremendous pass by that freshman, Oliver Moore, one of the most talented 9th graders you'll find in the state of Minnesota.
Absolutely. So Bernovic, 6th of the year, puts the Eagles back on top. Here in the third period, just a minute now gone by. A shot that's blocked off the stick of Levis as it's sent back out through neutral. Trying to get it toward Heffron, who came in onside but lost the puck as the Royals get it back out to neutral. Ganaz will play it off the glass and will be knocked down with the glove by Lohman. The Royals trying to get it in deep. Penalty coming here against Adam Johnson for a trip as he accidentally got caught in the skates of Levis. And that'll put the Royals on the power play. They're 0 for 2, but now they can respond. This game's kind of, we were talking at intermission, it's kind of been there hasn't really been much graduality in this game. It just kind of goes from one team with control to the other team. This one goes off outside and comes back in, so we'll have a neutral zone face-off. While we were just talking, like I said, it was, all the momentum. There's been no gradual shift. It's been the momentum just goes from one team to the other team. And here's Jensen on the near side. Jensen on the near side trying to play this one through up toward Fredrickson on the far side. Fredrickson back to A.J. Lohman. Gets it over to Sharber with a shot into the pads of Johnson. He's able to squeeze them together.
And I believe it was Connor Smith, if I'm correct, who had the goal there for Totino-Grace. Get a great feed by Oliver Moore. We'll take a look at that later in the broadcast, too. Can't say enough about that pass from Moore.
It was actually Bernovic who had the power play.
Or Bernovic, rather, yes. That's why you're there to correct me.
This one slides through on the centering feed, but a nice job to get in the way of that one by Sharber, but eventually cleared deep into the Rogers zone. 1:25 in the Royals power play. 3-2 Rogers trailing now here in the third period. And taken away is Delzer with a shot. A nice save as Leffler able to just stretch out the pad. Another shorthanded bid for the Eagles. They almost added to their 6 on the season, and almost made it 2 in the game. There's Gray intercepting the puck. Gray can't work his way, though, around Lohman. Puck played to the end boards. Fredrickson up in the corner will play it back through. Royals will set up behind their own net. 50 seconds in the power play as they get it to Fredrickson. As he drops it off over to Sharber. Mike and Miller. Miller, though, got knocked off the puck as it's cleared back into the neutral zone. Levis there with it for the Royals. Levis trying to drop it back to Miller, but it went off a skate and it's sent back into the neutral zone. Nice play there by Connor Smith. It's Fredrickson into the offensive zone, but he can't work his way between Schroeder and Golden as it's cleared the length of the ice by Schroeder. 16 seconds now in the power play. Stretch pass intercepted by Schroeder. We'll play it back into the neutral zone. 13:40 to go here in regulation. 3-2 Eagles leading it. Austin Bernovic putting the Eagles on top with a power play goal here very early in the third period. This one will go in on goal as Johnson will just cover it up. With Tanner Wise lurking out front, and we'll have a face-off deep in the Eagle zone with 13:26 to play.
If you look at one more time at that go-ahead goal for Totino-Grace, Bernovic able to bury it.
Nice job here by Jones to just take this puck off a stick and back into the offensive zone. Here's Bernovic. Bernovic was knocked off the puck in kind. It's played to the far side boards. Eagles a great job here to keep it in the Rogers zone as they play it into the corner. They're taken away by the Royals, flipped out to neutral, and then swept in by Howie Moore down to the near side, where the Royals will regain possession. Stretch pass to the far side for Joe Moss out of his reach. As Jones able to gain possession. Jones, nice pass over to Ganaz. Ganaz with a shot wide of the net. Will go off the glass. Eagles maintain the puck. Howie Moore will send it wide of the net, off the end boards, over toward the near side. Flipped into the neutral zone. We'll get a penalty coming here against the Royals. And that'll put the Eagles on the power play, and they'll look to add to their lead.
Certainly not what the doctor ordered here for Rogers, as you kind of mentioned, Patrick, that it's been one of these types of games that's really had momentum, sustained momentum shifts for both squads, and right now I think it's Totino-Grace with the momentum on their side, and now that they're going to go on the power play, a chance to...
That's what I want to say. I think it was actually the puck played with a high stick, perhaps. So we have Johnson is injured as he works his way off ice.
Well, nonetheless, I would say Totino-Grace certainly has had the better of the play here in this third period. Of course, things can change in this one. It's kind of gone almost by like maybe 3 or 4 minute shifts where each team has kind of taken control of play, and then after that 3 or 4 minutes, it'll be the other team that kind of takes over momentum.
The Royals push it into the Eagles zone, taken there by Ganaz as he gets it ahead toward Moore. It's off his stick, and Easton Miller trying to chase it down. Moore will get to it first. Moore plays it back to the point. The shot that'll go wide off the end boards. Comes around to Miller. Miller will play this one through neutral as icing waved off. As Johnson out of his net. Centering feed, that would have been dangerous, but the Eagles able to intercept. Here's Heffron into the offensive zone, but offside with Thielen. And we'll have a face-off in the neutral zone with 12:05 to play in the game. 3-2 Eagles leading it. Power play goal for Austin Bernovic in the first minute of this third period, putting Totino-Grace back on top. A game they led 2-0. Rogers came back to tie it up in the second period. With Golden, gets it over to Finley, who dumps it into the Rogers zone. Leffler out of his net to slow it down. Will be played over toward the near side with a shot by Golden that's knocked down in front, played up toward the far side point. Heffron trying to gain control of it, but he can't. Royals then able to bring it out to neutral ice. Near side with speed. Here's Wise. Wise getting tied up by Golden. Got a shot off. Rebound. They score. Grant Granai catching up to the rebound. That's his second goal of the game, and we are tied again.
Well, let's get a look at it here. Granai just had a tremendous game, but was also a Great effort to get things started right here. You're going to see, probably could have called a penalty right there, perhaps, maybe a trip, but falling down and making that pass, that is an awesome play by Rogers. Look at this one more time. Look at that pass as he's falling to the ice. Not even a pass, it's more just kind of a shot on net that turned into a pass. Works just as well as that. That's a really smart play there. Just give your teammate a chance streaking into the zone. That's exactly what he did. We're knotted up at 3. Great individual play right there by, for the Rogers, that's number 10, Jack Gray Jack Gray. That would be Tanner Wise to set that up.
So Grenna able to smack home the rebound, and we were tied once again. Rogers has not led in the game. They trailed 2-0 and then 3-2. They've tied it up once again. This one swept back into the neutral zone. The Eagles gathering it in their own end. Eagles back to playing on their heels, we talked about. But no gradual momentum shifts in this game, and Rogers has taken it back. As Moore cycles it to the corner, as Bernovic trying to get it down low. It'll be played down to the near side boards. 10:55 to play in regulation.
Tanner Wise ought to get about 2 points for setting up that goal. We'll watch that again as we head to our next break, but just can't say enough about, as you're falling to the ice, to have the wherewithal just to throw it at the net to create that opportunity.
Puck played deep in the Rogers zone. Pushed out to neutral ice. Here comes Ryan Streeter, but Streeter is his pocket picked by the opposing number 23. That was Heffron. Oh, here's Ganaz into the offensive zone with speed. Ganaz with a backhand shot, save Leffler. Centering feed comes back to the blue line. Schroeder with a shot. That's saved and held on to this time by Leffler.
Oh, a lot of pressure being put on just a moment ago by Totino-Grace. Let's look at that sequence again. You'll see Ganaz with a great individual effort, and then kind of a mistake there perhaps by not covering that up, as you're going to see that came a pretty clean look for Totino-Grace, but fortunately for Rogers, their goaltender able to make the save.
The Eagles gain control of the face-off. Adam Johnson with a shot saved. Rebound through the slot.
By the way, good to see him back out on the ice.
We talked about Johnson, who left, who kind of favoring his hand or wrist a little while ago as it's played deep into the Eagles zone. That's how Moore plays it back over toward Golden. The Eagles trying to gain control of it. Thielen will get it out through neutral toward Heffron. Heffron will get to it first as he slows it down on the near side. Nice backhand pass, but then it was just poked away before it could get to Adam Johnson. The Eagles able to hold the zone, play it around toward the near side, then into the neutral zone. Golden backhand to the head. It would have been an offside had it entered the zone anyway. As Rogers able to push it into the Eagles zone. Grenai making another great play. He's able to push it deep into the Eagle end. As Moore losing control of the puck. Grenai back with it now on the near side, but then he has it taken away by Delzer as it's played back in deep by Sharber. Sharber, who has the other Royal goal in the game that tied it up at 2 in the second period. Grenai back out at neutral with it. He'll flip it into the Eagle zone where it's knocked down by Golden. Golden sends it over to Moore and it's taken away as Grenai trying to gain control of it. But Oliver Moore will end up with it. Oliver Moore will gain the offensive zone on the other end as he backflipped. He took a big hit. But that's going to be a legal play. Oh my goodness, and that got the crowd's attention for sure as it's played in deep to the Eagles zone. There's Streeter on the near side. Streeter will see this one set about a play.
Well, let's look at it again right here. I'll show you a little more time. Probably not one of the more memorable moments for Oliver Moore, but fortunately he's all right. Yeah, just kind of one of those fluky plays. Not necessarily dirty at all, but glad to see Moore's all right, as that really could have done some damage had he landed wrong or perhaps got his knee caught up in there to get him in the air, but fortunately it looks like he's all right.
The Eagles playing it from deep in their own zone. It'll be played back into the corner. Schroeder shrugging off Mike and Miller. As Gray plays it over toward Darby Jones. Gray up the left wing. He'll try to gain the offensive zone, but he can't work his way around Streeter. The Eagles will play it around the net, up onto the end boards. Royals break out with it back the other way. 3-on-2 if they hurry. They chip it ahead toward Fredrickson, but a nice job by Ganaz to get him tied up from behind. We kind of talked about how the Royals have played well in this game despite Haven't really called Fredrickson's name a lot. We hadn't really called Tanner Wise's name a lot until that last goal. There was a shot, stick save by Johnson on the shot by Jack Pelliff. Pelliff tied up by Ganaz in the near side corner. Schroeder joining. Mike and Miller also joining for Rogers. 7.5 minutes to play. 3-3 tie game. Puck still being battled for on the end boards as Jack Gray comes out with it. Gray stretches it out toward Thielen on the near side. Thielen into the offensive zone. Nice drop pass toward Heffron. Heffron under control. Heffron with a shot. Oh, what a great save by Leffler. Leffler is out of position, able to get back and make another save.
Whew. What a game we're seeing from both of these teams, and also Kyle Heffron.
It's Pelliff into the offensive zone as Golden gets in his way. Pelliff now battling in the corner with Howie Moore. Shot by Fredrickson that'll go wide and then back off the back of the net, and that one just sneaks through the blue as Kel Levis made an attempt to poke that puck past Johnson. Here's Heffron into the offensive zone. Heffron trying to go to a nice stick move but couldn't quite get around Pelliff, and we'll get a whistle with 6:34 to play in the game.
Well, what do you say we take a look at that last opportunity from Kyle Heffron? Look at the stick handling play right here, moving it around. Great move, and boy, that's just a good job by the goaltender not to react to some of those moves there from Kyle Heffron, getting his stick on that to make the save.
Oh yeah, it's like all these stoppages are just kind of a catch your breath.
Exactly.
How many times we have to say it? There have been no momentum shifts in the game. It's been either one team has it or the other team has it. There has been no gradual shift.
No, as he said, yeah, when it shifts momentum, it doesn't happen gradually. It's just kind of there in a heartbeat.
Play continuing behind the Rogers net as the Royals able to push it ahead. We get a whistle as Grenai was about to break into the neutral zone. Net got knocked off. That'll bring it back into the Royals zone with 6:23 to play in regulation. Then along with Al Finley, Brett Johnson, Patrick Lilia, live with you from the Rogers Activity Center for a whale of a game this evening.
Oh, by far, I would say the most entertaining game we've broadcast this season. We've had both in favor and against Totino-Grace some lopsided contests, but this thing, anything but that. You've been tuning in this whole game. You've certainly seen a good one.
Puck played up to the far side boards. Royals come out with it. We'll get it into the offensive zone on the stick of Levis, but Levis can't fight his way through Howie Moore. Comes back to Wise. Wise puts it in on Johnson, who has to cover it up with 6:07 to go here in regulation.
That's the way this game has gone, too. I feel like if even someone takes a 4-3 lead, I don't think that's going to be the last goal we see in this game. It just has the feeling of some sort of crazy finish where maybe a team takes a 4-3 lead and then the opposing team comes back and ties it in the closing seconds. That's at least what I'm kind of gathering could happen towards the end of this contest.
We had a wild game. There's Delzer working his way through neutral. Delzer slows it down in the offensive zone. Nice stick save, nice shot, rebound, again save. Connor Smith denied twice. There's a blast from the point that'll go over the net off the glass by Schroeder. Smith back with it. Smith trying to center it for Delzer. Delzer will intercept it. Delzer with a shot save by Leffler. He's back up into the corner. Set another save by Leffler by Oliver Moore. Flipped back out to neutral. It'll kick off the skate of Schroeder as Rogers will slow it down. Levis with it as he gets it to the red line. Into the offensive zone, here's Mike and Miller. Miller going to the ice as he was trying to drive his way around Ganaz. Wise able to hold, Jake Jensen able to hold. Jensen up in the far side corner, centering feed out front for a shot save. Great pad save by Johnson on the shot by Easton Miller. As the Eagles play it back through neutral, this will be an icing with 5:03 to play. And we just saw a moment ago Patrick Leffler denying Connor Smith twice.
Well, let's take a look at that last Totino-Grace opportunity, and then we'll see if we have time to maybe show you that Rogers scoring chance. Catch your breath. Whew. Close opportunities.
This is what we come out here for, right?
Absolutely.
Was unable to hold the zone as Miller. It'll work its way all the way back in. Thielen able to take it away. Thielen with it, centers out front for Heffron. Oh, he's denied by Leffler. There's a shot by Golden that goes wide. This crowd is just going crazy. Leffler standing on his head here in the third period, denying chance after chance. As this one comes in off of Heffron on Leffler, who holds on with 4:34 to go in the game.
Well, let's take a look at that wild sequence.
Oh, penalty coming against Totino-Grace. It's going to be Thielen going to the box. That's going to put the Royals on a power play here late.
How in the world Leffler able to keep that out of the net? A lot of traffic out there in front helping him out too, but yeah, that is a key point you brought up here, Patrick, as we are going to get a Rogers power play, so more drama to be added to this finish.
Royals haven't led in the game. They trailed 2-0, trailed 3-2.
Power play unit, by the way, is 0 for 3 in the game, and they came into it converting at 18%. TG penalty kill unit, excellent.
Sharper with a drive and just out front. Miller was there to wait for the rebound, but Johnson didn't allow one.
The TG penalty kill unit, very good, 84% coming into this game. They have a shorthanded goal as well in tonight's contest. They have 6 shorthanded goals on the season as well, so don't count out the Eagles possibly scoring on this Rogers power play.
Mike and Miller battling with Ganaz. Miller able to maintain the puck. Rogers with it behind their net. Excuse me, the Eagle net. This one unable to be held by A.J. Lohman. Lohman will have to go get it in his own zone. 1:33 in the power play, 4:05 in regulation. 3-3 tie game. Fredrickson down on the near side as it's poked into the Eagle zone. Howie Moore now with it. Moore with a stretch pass. It was well out of the reach of Heffron. The whistled offside. I think it might have been a little premature, though. I think it looked like they were going to get on before the puck came in, but I guess the officials, that's, as we say, Brett, that's why we're up here and they're down there.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're going to push the face-off all the way back on the Rogers side of the neutral zone. Comes down toward the near side. Be gathered in by Miller. Miller will retreat into his own zone. 1:07 to go here in the power play. 3:33 in regulation. Get it over on the near side. It's played in deep by Jensen. From the far side corner, Miller getting tied up there by Moore. Seconds to go in the Rogers power play. 2:52 in the game. A wildly entertaining game this evening from the Rogers Activity Center. Perhaps one more chapter left to be written into the offensive zone. Here's Levis. Levis with a shot. Might have been hit with the handle of the stick by Johnson. Levis in the corner battling with Golden. Delzer into the offensive zone. Delzer with a shot that was tipped as he was trying to get it around Ryan Streeter. Generating feet out front, and then a shot on the turnaround was saved. We get a whistle as the net got knocked off with 2:14 to go in regulation. We need to catch our breath.
Yeah, I know. That's why we're not really saying much right here. This is as good a period of hockey as you'll see in any regular season contest this year. So I'd recommend going back and watching this one later if you have the ability to, especially this third period.
Heffron was able to hold the zone. Rogers gets it back out to neutral now. It's Johnson. He played in deep by Ganaz, and Johnson had to get on the ice to avoid being hit by that one. It's Rogers trying to set up deep in their own end. 1:48 to go in regulation. 3-3 our score. It's flipped back out to neutral. Pass ahead for Joe Moss. They get it ahead for Jensen, but it's taken back by the Eagles. Little split between Miller and, well, both Millers, Easton and Mikan. It's played back in now. Here's Fredrickson with it. Fredrickson was trying to center it, but it's tipped up and out of play with 1:25 to go. I feel like this is just the kind of game that deserves overtime. Well, we'll see if we'll get there, but
I wasn't going to go there to jinx it, but I think you are probably right. This game does seem destined to go to overtime. I'm still sticking with my prediction that if someone does take a 4-3 lead within the next minute or so, we're probably going to see whoever doesn't score tie it up in the closing seconds. This just has the makings of something weird happening at the end.
Levis was able to control the face-off, and Sharber was able to hold. Eagles will set up now in their own end. It's tipped out to neutral, so get past Levis. Brought in by Streeter. It's intercepted, but then offside was Smith. Oh, my goodness.
Well, they're calling the offsides awfully tight here in the closing minutes, aren't they? You mentioned that they had kind of a premature whistle maybe about 3 or 4 minutes ago, and that was also a close play at the blue line that we just saw. Which I suppose, if you're a referee out there, and even a fan too, you want to see a good goal scored. You don't want to have any controversy where somebody scores on a goal that maybe should have been whistled offside, so I don't think it's a bad idea to err towards blowing a whistle on a close play at the blue line.
1:10 to go in regulation. 3-3 our score. Rogers controlling the face-off. They'll tip it ahead into the Totino-Grace zone. Ganaz can't clear, but it'll get on the stick as they'll get it ahead for Heffron. Heffron trying to get it back to Delzer, and a shot, and that's saved by Leffler. Heffron and Delzer combining, and Delzer's shot saved by the goaltender Leffler with 54.4 to go.
Yeah, they're going to see a great opportunity there. Delzer with a golden chance, but his goaltender for Rogers has really come on and played strong here in this third period.
Played around the net by Jensen. Delzer with it, trying to center for Heffron, but it was tipped away. Ganaz able to hold Heffron in the corner as it'll get by him and by Jake Sharber. Eagles, now we more through traffic. That'll go wide of the net. 35 seconds to play. There's a shot, trying to get it to Heffron, who was blocked out front. Royals loading up for one last chance for half of their own as Grenai plays it in deep to the Eagles zone. Johnson out of his net to slow it down as Jensen catches up to it, but the Eagles will get it out to neutral. There's Delzer into the offensive zone, under 10 seconds. There's a shot that'll go off the side of the net. The Royals gain control, under 10 seconds now to go. Into the offensive zone as Wise can't work his way around Ganaz. It comes down to the near side. 2 seconds, 1 second. As they wind up for a shot at the buzzer, it would not have counted. Johnson was able to make the save on the drive by Streeter anyway, so we will go to overtime. Game tied at 3.
I'll tell you what, while we go to overtime, why don't we take a look at our scoring summary, as we do have most of the goals available for replay. Let's look at this first goal that the Eagles were able to score. Again, this tremendous play by Kyle Heffron gave them that early 1-0 lead. Eagles would score a little bit later to make it 2-0, but then Rogers with a really key goal right here, because Totino-Grace had kind of taken control of the game, especially early in that second period. But you're going to see a nice breakout right here, and then a nice zone entry right here by Rogers, rather, number 6 Grant Grenai, scoring his first of 2 goals. From there, we were tied at 2. And let's take a look at that third goal for Totino-Grace. Again, that great pass by Oliver Moore from kind of an impossible angle gave them a 3-2 lead. One more look at it as he was able to find Bernavec. That made it 3-2 Totino-Grace. And then the third goal by Rogers, which is where we stand now. Get a look at it again. Just watch this play, falling down and making, at least throwing it at the net and giving his teammate a chance. Just a great individual effort. So that's where we stand, tied up at 3 as we head to overtime.
Well, it's certainly, an interesting thought. Overtime is, of course, where teams kind of open things up a little bit and take some more chances, so we can kind of see just how much more wild do you think this overtime can get? I mean, it's 8 minutes of, just could be complete chaos from after what we've seen the first, especially that third period. That was...
Yeah, the only thing that could possibly change this is having this 3-minute break. Maybe that slows down both of these teams, because we certainly saw some real entertaining fire wagon type hockey here in this third period, and maybe both coaching staffs are going to try to settle their teams down and play a little bit more of a responsible period. So it will be interesting to see if we continue with that same pace we had in the third period, or whether both of these teams kind of play that very disciplined style where you still want to take your chances if you get it, but you certainly don't want to make a mistake and leave your opponent with an easy opportunity. So it'll be interesting to see how both teams approach this overtime.
Rogers controls the face-off. Easton Miller playing it deep into the Eagles zone. Granai trying to stop it behind the net, but he can, as the Eagles will send it out to neutral ice. Millard racing back to get to it ahead of Thielen, as it'll be played back into the neutral zone by Leffler. The Eagles play it back deep into the Rogers zone. Picked up in the near side corner by Sharber. Sharber trying to battle around to Heffron. Played up toward the far side corner. Heffron will end up with it. He tried to center, but it was tipped. There's Granai with it on the near side. Granai gets it ahead for Wise. Wise leaves it for Granai, but he got it poked away from behind. He got a shot off anyway. Rebound backhand was saved by Johnson. That got knocked off. Boy, we talked about, go ahead, Brett.
I was going to say, yeah, that's Johnson certainly coming up in the clutch there for Totino-Grace.
I was going to say, though, it was just kind of like, we've seen a lot tonight. It looks like fairly harmless, innocent shots, or just kind of
becoming not so innocent, essentially.
Absolutely. The Eagles play the face-off around their own net. 7:15 to go in overtime. The Royals trying to gain control of it. It'll be played around by Schroeder, able to be held by Streeter, but then it's poked to the end board. The Eagles get it out to neutral. It's Delzer trying to gain control of it, but had it forced ahead, and the Royals regain it in their own zone. It's played over towards Streeter.
Here's my call right here. If Totino-Grace wins it, I'm calling Delzer getting the goal. I'll make a pick for Rogers as well if we get the chance.
Miller with a shot saved by Johnson. Played around the net. It's loose in front. Johnson is down, and he's able to get on top of it.
Ooh, that was close right there to ending it. Let's take a look at it on the replay while we have a few moments to sort things out. Again, Johnson coming up in this overtime, gave up that rebound, which obviously he doesn't like, and then, yeah, this puck kind of bounced out there in front. Fortunately for him, he was able to cover it up. That's right. I got to make my call here for Rogers. Should they score in overtime? Well, I'm going to go with Grant Grenai to get that hat trick. Should they get the winner here in the extra session?
The Eagles play the face-off around. It's got to be the Bucci, or was it the Bucci-Gross overtime challengers? Johnson with a shot save. Rebound is still loose and eventually covered up. We kind of got caught there talking about something not really relevant to the game, but that's
the cardinal sin of the play-by-play man. But yeah, you're right. I'll take the blame for that one, kind of doing the Bucci-Gross overtime challenge.
It's a face-off coming deep in the Rogers end. 6:28 to go in overtime. Rogers controls the face-off as Miller banks it off around toward Wise. Wise gets it into the neutral zone, played back in deep. The Royals will collect it there. Played through the neutral zone off the stick of Granai, where it's controlled and sent back by Howie Moore. Easton Miller back to pick it up as he drops it off back to Jake Sharber. Sharber is intercepted, unable to be cleared, and Heffron couldn't get it through to Oliver Moore. Into the offensive zone, here's Easton Miller with a shot high and wide of the net. Wise down on the near side will play it back behind the net up into the far side corner. Cycled back through toward Jensen. Wise with it on the near side. Wise trying to battle his way through some sticks. Sharber can't hold. Here comes Heffron. Heffron into the offensive zone. He tried to stick handle his way around and is sent back the other way. Into the offensive zone, here's Mike and Miller, but Miller couldn't work his way between a couple of defenders as Ganaz without a stick. 5:25 to go here in overtime as it's sent out through neutral ice. Collected by A.J. Lohman. He sends it over to Sharber. Sharber gets it into the neutral zone. It's trying to be backhanded ahead by Miller. Miller will play it in. Johnson stops it, steers it aside with a stick as it's sent out of play. .508 to go in overtime. 3-3 our score. Totino-Grace getting one in the first, one in the second, one in the third. Rogers getting two in the second, one in the third. They have not led in the game. Streeter with a shot. They score! An overtime winner for Ryan Streeter, and Rogers wins the game 4-3.
A heck of a hockey game. You hate to see someone lose, but it is Rogers that gets it here at the end. We'll get a look at it before we wrap up our broadcast this evening. Well, it wasn't the guy I was calling that would get the goal. I got the tail end of it here. I'll get it ready for you, and you can take a look at how this game was won. I don't have much of it, unfortunately. But there's that goal for Rogers as they win it 4-3.
We'll get the official scoring. It was Streeter who took the initial shot. We'll find out if it was deflected in at the end. Well, Ryan Streeter credited with the game winner. That one coming at 2:56 of overtime. Would you say, Brett, we watched that whole, with how much happened in that overtime, would you say that only took 2:56 for all of that to happen? That's just a wild, just to give you an idea of how wild this game really was. So Ryan Streeter wins it for Rogers in overtime. They don't lead in the game until the overtime winner. So the Eagles drop their 5th straight. They'll head home. It's not going to get any easier. They'll take on Andover on Thursday. Andover engaged in a battle with St. Cloud Cathedral right now.
Yeah, this will, I was going to just finish up here, Patrick. 5 straight losses, not what you want here for Totino-Grace, especially with one of the best teams in the state coming to your place on Thursday, but they're going to have to find a way to bounce back and get back on the right track here. But we still did do some good things in this game, just unfortunately weren't able to get some bounces to go their way here in overtime as Rogers wins at 4-3.
Well, we'll be back on the air Thursday night when the Eagles take on Andover. Andover is actually trailing St. Cloud Cathedral right now, 2-1 late in the 3rd period. That's something you'll definitely want to keep your eye on. St. Cloud Cathedral, the #1 Class A squad, leading the #1 AA squad. We'll wrap it up here. A heartbreaker for the Eagles tonight. They drop it in overtime 4-3. The 3rd goal of the year for Ryan Streeter. We'll be back on the air Thursday night at 7 o'clock as the Eagles return home for a 5-game homestand against the top-rated Andover Huskies. And we will talk to you then. For Al and Brett, I'm Patrick. We will catch you soon from an arena near you.